Hello.
Hi, Hesh. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Okay, I think we have a few people on right now, so shall we just get started with this?
Yes, please. Let's go.
So, we asked people to send in questions on Discord and Instagram Live or on Instagram about your cricketing past, Meta 11, and everything in between. So, I'm just going to get started with the first one, which is from DKevinB_17, who says, what was your early journey in cricket like, especially in your childhood?
Well, it was probably slightly different to a lot of the youngsters today because a lot of the youngsters now, after 1996 and what they've seen in the last 20, 25 years, plus the advent of the IPL and franchise cricket, they start very young. I, of course, started, when I was about 11, 12, and then didn't take it very seriously until I was about 16. My father coached me all throughout, even through my international career. I played at Trinity College for my age groups, joined NCC, which was my first and last club, and then basically played there and got into the A side and the national side. So we had a very good progressive roadmap for young cricketers, which we still do, I think. And then I was very fortunate to have 15 years of cricket. I'm very grateful to all the coaches I had. Trinity College, we were very lucky to own an international cricket ground in Asgiria, former international. Now you have Pallakele in Kandy. And that really allowed me to become better at my cricket, and all the coaches, my father, my family who helped me along. So not very different in terms of many journeys of cricketers. Looking back now, I was very fortunate in every way to have access to all of that.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going to go straight into the next one. Question comes in from Cham. What is the most unforgettable cricket match in your test career?
In my test career, well, there were a few. I think the one in South Africa, where we won, the first time we won in South Africa, Rangan Herath took a massive amount of wickets. Tilan Samaravira scored 100. This was in Durban, and it was fantastic to win overseas because we were determined to win overseas as a side, and I think that's a very important factor for Sri Lankan cricketers. When you come into the national side, we pride ourselves on trying to win abroad, and we pride ourselves on taking wickets and scoring runs overseas. So that was brilliant. But I think in 2014, when Angelo Matthews captained the Sri Lankan team, and we went and we won the One Day series and the Test series 1-0 in England. It was a last over finish, the first Test match at Lord's. It was a last over draw that we snuck out. The last ball being edged just short of first or second slip by Nuwan Pradeep. And then we went into the next test. And then we managed to beat England, James Anderson getting out caught at leg gully of Eranga. And Rangan Herath again taking that catch, and that was fabulous to me. So those two games really stand out for me.
Incredible how you remember.
Oh, sorry, one more, Hesh.
Oh, okay, go for it.
When Murali took his 800th wicket in goal.
Okay.
Pragyan Oja caught it first slip by Mahela. That was important, not because of anything, because I had, as captain, just decided to take Murali off the attack at 799 because we had to try and win the game. And I was debating whether the fans will allow us to get out of the ground alive if I denied Murali the opportunity of getting 800.
Incredible. Okay, we're going to segue slightly over to Meta 11 for the next one. So Crypto Key 1986 says, what will make Meta 11 different from other projects in the space, and what benefits will early adopters have?
Well, Meta 11 is basically an AI-driven game with a lot of real-world cricketing linkages. And the cricketers will improve organically. The more you train them, the more you support them, the more nutrition you give them. It's going to also be different. It's not a game that you will actually participate as a player, but you will own avatars and be able to, with your friends, play as your as your avatar in the metaverse. Now, in terms of watching cricket, we all have a passionate emotional connection to cricket and to cricketers that we love and admire and follow. But very little do we get in terms of interaction with them in real life. Now, this is an opportunity, especially in phase 1 of Meta 11, where you will be more an analyst, where you will start following cricketers, analyze their data, and then start trying to predict outcomes on one-on-one competitions for rewards, financial and otherwise. And all these cricketers are built with real-world cricketing data. And the tech behind is also fabulous. The designs, the skins that you'll be able to purchase or have your cricketers wear, again, amazingly attractive. In phase 2, of course, you will actually be able to own your avatars, provide them with nutrition, provide them with training, get them better, improve their cognitive skills, improve their playing skills, and then you'll be able to challenge your friends or other owners and their avatars to games. All the games are pretty short, 5 to 10 minutes, really interesting. And then you'll be able to own them as NFTs. You'll be able to trade your players once they are at a certain level for reward. You'll be able to own grounds as well. We're creating grounds that the players will play in. It's going to be a very immersive, all-encompassing experience like no other. And the tech platform that we built for the same will improve and enhance that experience. So it's going to be very, very exciting, very different. And the first movers in this will be able to own those first generation players. And as you go on, and as we build more of a closer fan following and fan linkage to their players and their avatars, we also have the ability to drop in real world cricketers once we are, we tie up those agreements as well. So it's exciting to be a part of this.
Oh, for sure. So now we've picked these questions at random, so we're bouncing between subjects. Akil asks, how has cricket evolved since you began playing?
Well, it's evolved hugely. Skill-wise, it's improved massively, especially with the advent of T20 cricket. The amount of shots, the amount of deliveries for bowlers, the different field settings, the intensity, the athleticism, everything's improved hugely, almost unrecognizably. The rules have changed as well in cricket, making for different kind of complexities in terms of play interaction, in terms of strategy and tactics. A huge amount of data crunching is done by analysts, the team, to gain advantages. A lot of player selection is done on data, team planning, strategy, opposition planning is all a lot to do with both cricketing knowledge, experience, but also hugely with data. And also in terms of the importance of franchise cricket around the world. Now that's become incredibly important. The IPL itself, now the women's IPL leagues everywhere in the world. Recently, the South African T20 League, which has been hugely successful, the one in the UAE. And then, of course, for the administrators and players trying to strike a balance between international cricket representing your country and franchise cricket. So it's added so many layers into this game that we love for fans and for players. In terms of attracting spectators and holding their attention, I think it's been brilliant because a huge amount of young boys and girls, a huge amount of women, a huge amount of new spectators of various orientations and backgrounds have all and identities have all come to watch cricket. And right now, I think women's cricket especially is on the cusp of something amazing, exponential growth. It's great opportunities for young girls now to look up and look at cricket, look up to women cricketers, and not just young girls, boys as well, and look up to them and actually think that cricket is going to be a very viable profession for them. So I think cricket's developing really, really fast. The US leagues are coming up as well. But at the same time, I think the most important consideration is how the schedules interact, how national cricket and franchise cricket is balanced out, and how inspiring the cricket the players play will be for spectators to keep wanting to watch cricket and be a part of cricket. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that in a second, but I think Ibrahim 004 asks, how will Meta 11 change cricket in the modern era?
Well, I think, for a lot of us that watch cricket, now I've been very fortunate that I played at the highest level. Now, there are billions of fans. It's the second most popular sport in the world after football. It is the second most valuable televised per match sport in the world next to American football when it comes to the IPL. Now, that means the fan base is going to increase and diversify. Now, at the same time, when you're a fan, you have very little opportunity of actually interacting with your idols and the stars in the first place. And sometimes, due to various reasons, you also have limitations in terms of accessing cricket, being a part of that elite cricketing group, or even playing cricket at various levels. Now, cricket is for everyone at any level. You don't have to be an international player to enjoy cricket. You can play it in the backyard, you can play with your friends in the community, you can play for fun, for competitions, whatever. So it's got a huge appeal for anyone of any ability. But here, in terms of the metaverse, you have the ability to create avatars, own avatars, and actually play virtually and engage in competitions, imprint your own kind of take on your cricketer, on their abilities, and be able to play almost vicariously at the highest levels. And it's quite an enjoyable, immersive experience. And that allows for broader participation of spectators, of fans, non-traditional gamers, all into this new space that we're trying to create for cricket in the metaverse through Meta 11. So it's going to be a benchmark and a catalyst for further change, further improvement, further fan engagement in this space, and we are trying to be one of the pioneers there.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So what do you think will be the impact of emergent technologies on cricket over the next few years?
I think it's going to be huge. I think this is just a start in terms of emerging technologies. You have now VR cricket simulations that are so totally immersive in getting you ready for cricket. And this is not just for fans, for actual players at an elite level to be able to don your VR headset and be ready to play by actually reacting to real-time bowling virtually, getting your reactions right, getting to watch the ball, understanding your opposition in terms of virtual reality so that you're much better prepared in a real world sense to go out there and play. In terms of fan engagement, you see more and more engagement with cricketers in terms of their social media presence, in terms of virtual engagement. And now with games like Meta 11, you can actually own, you can actually create avatars, you can actually imprint your game, your tactics, strategies on cricket and try and control outcomes in terms of skill. So the technology that we are using is changing very fast, and for the benefit of cricket, we are looking at new bat technologies, new ways of measuring bat speed, new microchips in cricket balls to try and get much more accurate data in terms of ball behavior, wearable technology for cricketers to give fans a much more first-hand player perspective on what's happening out there, helmet cams. It's such an exciting space, and technology is going to impact cricket for the better as this journey continues.
Cardi asks, what is your opinion on the privatization of cricket, as in the formation of franchise-based leagues in almost every major cricketing nation, and the transition of players preferring to play in those leagues rather than for their countries?
Well, I think players don't just prefer to play in those leagues at the expense of playing for their country. I think players want to do both, and I think it is unfair to try and force players to do just one. Players take a great pride in playing for their country, donning their national cap in tests, in one-days, in T20s. But the advent of franchise cricket since 2008 and the expansion and explosion of franchise cricket around the world is also a sign that the appeal of cricket among its fans is very, very strong. Now, the real challenge is for players, administrators to balance out that commitment in terms of national or franchise. And that's an ongoing conversation that the world is having. You will never have perfect balance, Hesh. It'll always be weighted towards one or the other. But the crucial part is to get that weightage right. When it's a World Cup year in terms of 50 over, how do you ensure that the national teams are fully prepped with the availability of their stars, their top players that attract the fans to be fully engaged in international cricket? It's the same for tests. If you see what Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum have done in terms of their leadership for Test cricket in England by really playing amazingly attractive, fast-paced, attacking, dynamic cricket, that's a possibility as well. So there is a responsibility of everyone to get together, because ultimately it is the fan that decides how much cricket they want to consume and if they want to consume it at all. And cricket and its formats have a place, have an appeal for fans of different generations, of different motivations. Some fans love international cricket over franchise cricket. Others have a huge liking for franchise cricket. But if you really take the new era of cricket, in the old days when I was young, you'd watch Test cricket and graduate to other formats. Now you watch T20 cricket, fast-paced cricket, and then you actually get people to fall in love and graduate to the more traditional formats. I don't think cricket is in any danger. I don't think international cricket is in any danger. But we have a huge amount of work to do to balance out the tour schedules, the match schedules, and the interests of private stakeholders in terms of franchises and national stakeholders in terms of home boards. And we will get there. It'll take some time, but we want the input of the fans. We want that connection with the fans, and we want that following and that passion to stay at a premium, because without the fans, without their passion, without their support, any sport, be it cricket or any other sport, will lose its relevance and die out.
Sure. Tom asks, how easy will your platform be in terms of accessibility for newbies, people who are new to the platform? Most platforms have complicated UI nowadays.
Well, that's a very technical question for a tech dinosaur. But in terms of accessibility, we want to make games very, very easy to play. We're trying to make it as less complicated as possible. We want games to be short without huge complexities. And even for non-traditional gamers to be able to really easily play and interact and be a part of this gaming experience. And as we go along, by the middle of this year, to have a playable game ready for fans and gamers and non-traditional gamers, for everyone to take part in, we will release a lot more information on how easy that access is going to be. And mark my words, it will be easy. It will be very easy to play. It will be uncomplicated, and it will be completely geared towards fan enjoyment, fan rewards, and the ability to really cement first player experience with your avatars, with each other, with the competition, and make it a really enjoyable, wonderful experience.
And we have one last question from Pravin J123, which has been, what has been the most fun part of working on the Meta 11 game, and how involved are you?
Well, I was there right from the start when the idea was floated by two of my friends, in terms of how we conceptualized it, how we spoke about it, all the initial meetings, fundraising, going to investors, and we were amazed to see the amount of investors, non-cricketing investors, that were so quick to back us, understand the concept and come on board. International investors, family funds, investors who are big in terms of sports entertainment in the US, in Europe, and in Asia. So that was great fun. It's a completely new space for me, but be able to contribute to it with my expertise and my experience and my input was great. We have a fantastic team, really committed. Our entire development team is based in Sri Lanka because the founders are all Sri Lankan. And we take great pride in knowing that we have the quality of developers, of people who have the creativity, the capability to develop a game like this and make it a first in terms of cricket in the metaverse. So that was again a matter of pride for us, and being part of actually getting motion captured so that my avatar can be in the game and be actually part of this experience in the metaverse was brilliant. So I'm very, very personally involved in every aspect of it. We have Ravi Shastri on board as well, in terms of input, in terms of ambassadorial duties, and we're just looking to develop that platform, the tech, the gaming experience, because at the end of the day, we are trying to serve a new generation of cricket fans to be able to enjoy cricket.